Hello everyone. In previous session we had discussed about multitasking and categories of multitasking, that is multi-programming and multi-threading. Today we will see in detail about multi-threading in Java. Multi-threading means, as thread means smallest executable block of the code. Multiple thread means multiple executable blocks in the same code. And multi-threading means running all these multiple thread at the same time. There are two types of thread: default thread and user defined thread. In Java program or process, there is always one default thread, that is main thread, which is the first thread that gets executed when we run the Java program or process. Now, the user defined thread can be created. Before that, we will try how to display information about the current thread. Now suppose I want to display information about the current thread. So I will write one code, suppose which is having only main thread in the program as of now. No user defined thread is created. So we will display the information about this main thread. So that can be displayed by using thread object, T capital, thread object, and this object can be retrieved by using static method of thread class. So that's why it is called using class name. The name of the method is current thread. So the current thread method, which is static method of thread class, which gives you the thread object, and this thread object consists of the information related to the current thread. So we will display that information, current executing thread information. So we will display that with the T object. Okay, close the main, close the class. We will suppose we will save this code with th1.java under C drive program files. th1.java. We will compile the code, run the code, and we get the information, current executing thread information, which was our message. And this t object of thread class has displayed thread having three parameters in the bracket. First parameter is the name of the thread. Second parameter is the priority of the thread. And third parameter is the group name of the thread. There may be possibility that multiple threads are belonging to one group. So main is the name of the thread, 5 is the priority of a thread, and this main is the name of the group of this currently executing thread. Moving on. Now this was about default thread. We have to create user defined thread as per the user requirement. So when we want to create a user defined thread, it means we have to decide the life cycle of that thread. So we have to define the different stages of that user defined thread. For that purpose, we will understand the thread life cycle. When the thread is created, it is in the newborn state. Now you can schedule the thread for executing on the processor by using start method, or you can kill the thread before performing its job by using stop method. So it will go to the dead state. Once you schedule this thread by calling start method, it is in the runnable state. It will be placed in a queue at the processor and it will wait for the CPU time for the execution. When the CPU will take that thread for execution, then it will invoke the run method and the thread will be in running state. When the thread is running on the CPU, we can block that particular thread for some time by using suspend, wait, or sleep method. These three methods can be used to send a thread from running state to block state. It is not dead yet, it can be executed again. The suspended thread will be in block state or will be idle till we don't call resume method. Once we call the resume method, it will be again placed in a runnable state, it will be placed in a queue and it will wait for its turn to be executed on the CPU. When we use wait method to block a thread, it will be in dead state till we call the notify method. Again, after notify method, it will be in runnable state and it will wait for its turn to be executed on the CPU. In sleep method, we are giving the time in the millisecond, and once that time is lapsed, it will be automatically activated and it will be placed in runnable and it will be taken by the CPU once it's free. Once the thread has performed its complete task, whatever task you want to perform by a thread, that code should be written in the run method. Once the thread has executed the lines written in the run method, it will go to the dead state and that will be natural death of a thread. But before finishing the task of a thread, if we call stop method in any state of the thread, it will be premature death of a thread. So that thread will not execute again. So the states or phases of thread are newborn, runnable, running, blocked or idle, and dead. And the life cycle methods of thread are start, stop, run, suspend, sleep, wait, resume, notify, and yield method. Now, for example, as we are talking about multiple threads. So if multiple threads means multiple threads are ready for running on the processor. There is one processor only. So that threads will be waiting in the queue. Now suppose here are four threads are waiting in a queue and one thread T5 is running in the on the processor. Now when we called the start method for T1, T2, T3, T4, then it gets placed in a queue and now they are waiting for their turn. Once the T5 is taken for execution by the processor, the run method of thread 5 will be executing. If we want the thread 4 should be killed before executing, so we can call T4.stop, so it will be killed. It will be taken out from the queue. Now, suppose the running thread is T5 now, and I want this T5 to be suspended for some time. So I will call T5.suspend method. Once T5.suspend is called, this processor will terminate this T5 to the block state, and it will be idle for some time till you call the resume method. Once you call t5.resume method, then it will get placed in the queue again and it will wait for its turn. Same, when the sleep method is used, the running thread will be suspended or blocked till the time you have mentioned in milliseconds. After that time, that will go to the runnable state and then it will be taken by the CPU as per its availability. What is the use of yield method? This yield method is used if particular running thread wants to relieve the control of CPU voluntarily, willingly, then it will relieve the CPU willingly and will be waiting in the queue or in the runnable thread for few time, for some time. Now moving on, how to create a user defined thread. There are two ways: by extending thread class, by implementing runnable interface. So we will understand how to create a user defined thread by extending thread class. We will see a code for it. We will write one program for it. So now suppose I want to write a code so that I can create two threads, and one thread will be displaying uh, 1 to 10 number, and second thread will be displaying 11 to 20 number. So import the file, write class, give class name, derive a class extends thread. The task that we want to perform from a thread, that we have to write in the run method. Whatever we write in the run method of thread class, that will execute that code for this thread. Now suppose I want to print 1 to 10 number. So as we are seeing, multi-threading means one thread will get through CPU time, then we have to move that thread to the block state, and we should give time to the another thread. It means we are interrupting the thread which is running on the CPU. So exception may occur. That's why we are enclosing this statement in the try catch block. In try block, we are writing for int I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. What we want to do? We just want to print the number. Print I. And once one number is printed, I want this T1 thread which is running should be sent to the block state for suppose 2 seconds. So I will use thread.sleep method and will give 2000 so that it will be sent to the block state for 2 seconds. Now close the try block, write catch interrupted exception, empty block, and close the class. So this is one thread job is done. Now we have to, this is the closing bracket of run, this is the closing bracket of class. Now we have to write one more class T2 extends thread, and I want to print 11 to 20 number, again with a delay of 2 seconds. Now it means we have created two threads in a program. In one run method, we have written the job of printing 1 to 10. In another run method, we have written the job of printing 11 to 20. What we are doing here, once one number is printed, this thread will be stopped and will be blocked for 2 seconds. It means CPU will be free. So this T2 will go to the CPU, it will perform its job, and then it will go to the block state till 2 seconds, till the time this thread will activate and it will print its next number and will again go to the block state till time this T2 will activate and will print its number and will go to the block state. This will be repeated. Now we have to write our different class where we are writing our main function. Now we have created two class. We have to create object of that two classes. So threads will be created. Here actual threads are created T1. Same we have to create object of second class so that the second thread will be created. Now we have seen the thread life cycle where we know that once thread is created, it is in newborn state. We have to call start method for placing that thread to runnable state. So we will call t1 dot start and t2 dot start. There is no need to call the run method because run method will be automatically called when this thread will be taken by the CPU for execution. So we have to just call the start method so threads will be placed in a queue. We have to save this code th1.java, compile the code, run the code. Now observe the output. What we are getting? We get 111 with a gap of 2 seconds. We are seeing the two threads are printing at the same time. 717, 818, 919 likewise. So as per the availability of the CPU, the threads are using the CPU time. When we run the code again, you may see that we are getting different output which was previously different. 111 12 to here we got 111 to 12. So it is getting or giving the CPU time to the thread as per its timing. So this is how we can create multiple thread and we can run that threads on the system. Now, how to create user-defined thread by implementing Runnable Interface. We will have the same example how to implement this code by implementing Runnable Interface. Just instead of extends thread, write implements and Runnable. Repeat this for second class, and here we have created object. Now we have to create another object, thread object, and pass this above object to these classes. Thread O1 for T1. Again create object of thread class O2 for the T2 and call this start method with O1 means object of thread class. That's it. Compile the code, run the code, we get the output. So, while writing or implementing the code of creating a thread using Runnable Interface, simply put the classes with implements runnable code In the main function, create object of all the above classes, create object of thread class and pass the object of above classes and call the start method with this thread class object. Now suppose, and always remember one trick, as per the definition, however the number of, whatever the number of threads you have to create, there should be that number of classes in the program. Suppose you have to display 1 to 10 number with a delay of 5 seconds. So there is only one thread. So class T1 implements runnable 1 to 10 number with a delay of 5 seconds. So we will create it as a 5000. There is no need of another class. Simply in class th1 we will have main function, one class only, one thread class, pass the object of that class, call the start method. Let's see the output. Run the code. See 1, after 5 seconds we will get 2, again after 5 seconds we will get 3. So this will be done. So if there is one thread, there will be only one class, and in that class we should write the whatever task we want to perform in the run method. There is no need to call the run method, it will be automatically called. Moving on, we will see what are the methods of thread class. We have seen the life cycle method like start, stop, run, suspend, sleep, wait, notify, resume, etc. Now, other than this, what are the other methods of thread class? GetName method is used to retrieve the name of the thread. Syntax is which will return the string, that is the name of the thread. If you want to assign a name to the thread, you can use setName method. In bracket, you have to give the name. Get priority, set priority. These methods are used to change the priority of a thread. By default, the priority of the thread is 5. Is 5. If you want to change the priority of a thread, you can simply use the set priority method. Like here o1.start, if I want to change the priority of this thread, I have to write o1.set priority. In bracket you have to give the number. The priority of a thread is between 1 to 10. The minimum priority is 1 and the maximum priority is 10, and the default priority is the 5. This priority is nothing but the which will decide the preference. This is the preference which will decide that when to execute a particular thread. If you have multiple threads, then when to execute a thread. Now if you want to assign a name to thread, you can use o1.setName and you can give name to the thread like this. If you want to retrieve the name of thread, you can use the o1.get name of the thread and you can simply print the name of the thread which is written by this o1 like this. So I had set a number to this set name I have used for assigning a name to a thread, and I am retrieving the name of thread by using getName method from this o1. So this s is displayed, so I am getting the name as even numbers. Okay. Now other methods are, if you want to check whether the thread has finished its task or it is still in execution, you can have isAlive method to check whether the thread is alive or dead. It will return true if the thread is alive, otherwise false. The stop method will kill the thread, and if it is killed before executing its task, it will be the premature death of a thread. Start method is used to start the to place the thread for execution in the runnable state. So in this session we have seen about how to create user defined thread by extending thread class and by implementing runnable interface. We have learned about the thread lifecycle and the methods of the thread class. See you in the next session. Thank you.